What would you do if you found out you were pregnant at 50? That was the question Madam Adesua asked herself the day her whole life changed forever. The moment the doctor said, "Madam, you're pregnant," the room suddenly felt too small for Madam Adesua. Her throat dried, her ears rang, her hands trembled like she was holding ice water. Pregnant? At 50? After 10 years of menopause? She stared at the doctor, waiting for him to say it was a mistake. But he didn't. He simply cleaned his glasses and pushed the results toward her. "Madam, you are 2 months gone," he repeated gently. "Congratulations." Congratulations? Was he okay? Adesua sank into her chair. Her heartbeat raced. She pressed her palm against her chest, trying to calm herself. She wasn't a young woman. She wasn't even middle-aged. She was 50. A respected supermarket owner in Ibadan. A grandmother age. How could this be happening? When she stepped out of the hospital, the sun felt hotter than usual. People walked past minding their business, yet she felt exposed. She pulled her scarf lower and entered her car with shaky hands. Her phone rang. It was her daughter, Esse. "Mommy, hope you're okay. You said you went to check your blood pressure." Adesua closed her eyes. She wanted to lie, but the words refused to form. "Hello, Mommy? Are you there?" "I'm fine," she whispered finally. "I'll talk to you when I reach home." She ended the call quickly before Esse could ask more questions. Her mind replayed the past 2 months, the tiredness, the morning nausea, the midnight cravings for cold gari. She blamed everything on stress. Or malaria. Or menopause. Acting up. Pregnant? It felt impossible. It didn't make sense. She tried to start the car, but her hands were too weak. She rested her forehead on the steering wheel, taking slow breaths. Her thoughts drifted back to Lagos. The wedding, the night everything changed. It was her closest friend's daughter, getting married in Ikeja. Adesua didn't want to attend at first. She told them, "I'm too old for loud parties. I'll just send my gift." But her friend insisted, "You must. You need fresh air. Come and enjoy." So Adesua traveled to Lagos that Saturday. The hall was bright and lively. Music everywhere. Young women dancing carefree. Adesua sat quietly, eating slowly. Noise was no longer her thing. After her husband died, joy left her life. Work replaced everything. Later that evening, heavy rain started. Guests rushed outside. The entrance became chaotic. When she checked her phone, she realized she had missed her flight. What kind of problem is this again? She sighed. Her friend begged her to sleep over, but she didn't want to inconvenience anyone. She decided to head toward the airport area to see if she could find a late bus instead. She stepped out of the hall, crossed the road, and entered a bar to wait for the rain to reduce. That was when he walked in. A young man, maybe 35 or 40, tall, neat, and soft-spoken. He sat 2 stools away and ordered a malt. They didn't talk at first. Then thunder shook the windows, and he turned toward her. "Auntie, are you scared? Can I keep you company?" Adesua gave a shy smile. She didn't want to talk. She didn't want anyone to notice her, but his voice was calm, gentle, respectful. "Are you stranded too?" he asked. "Yes," she nodded. "I missed my flight." They talked casually about Lagos rain, traffic, the wedding she attended. Then something surprising happened. Adesua laughed a deep, genuine laugh. She hadn't laughed in 20 years. His presence felt safe. His smile warm. And as the rain continued and the road stayed blocked, everything shifted. He listened as she talked about her supermarket, raising Esse alone, losing her husband. "You're strong, Auntie," he said softly. "Too strong." You deserve to relax. She hadn't heard those words in decades. A touch on the hand, a soft look, a moment she couldn't control. They left the bar together, then the mistake happened. The next morning, she woke up in a hotel room she didn't recognize. He was already gone. Only a short note on the table. Take care of yourself. You deserve happiness. No name. No phone number. She told herself it was a mistake. She told herself to forget it. She never imagined this would be the result. A knock on her bedroom door dragged her back to reality. Mommy, Ese called softly. Please open the door. You're scaring me. Adesua wiped her tears. I'm fine. Go and rest. But Ese didn't move. Mommy, we only have each other. Whatever it is, don't hide it from me. Those words pierced her. That night, sleep refused to come. She lay on her bed staring at the ceiling, turning from side to side. Each time she closed her eyes, she saw the doctor's face. When she opened them, the memories of Lagos returned. By morning, she looked drained. Her chest still felt heavy, but she forced herself to get up. Work would distract me, she whispered. She dressed quietly and went to her supermarket. The workers greeted her with their usual respect. Good morning, Ma. Welcome, Ma. She nodded and walked toward her office. But before she could get there, a male voice stopped her. Excuse me, how much is this? Her body froze. That voice, she knew that voice. She turned slowly, and there he was, the young man from Lagos, the same man from the bar, the one who vanished and left her with nothing but memories. Holding a bottle of water, calm, unbothered, looking at her like a stranger. Good morning, Ma, he greeted politely. Ma. He called her Ma. Adesua felt her stomach twisted. He didn't recognize her. A worker stepped forward. Olga, the water is 150 naira. Thank you, he said warmly. Then he looked at Adesua again, still without recognition. He paid and turned to leave. You, she whispered. He paused. Ma, do you work here? Work here? She almost lost balance. The worker quickly corrected him. She owns the supermarket. Oh, sorry, Ma. He nodded respectfully and walked out. Ese entered just at that same moment holding bread. Mommy, why do you look like you've seen a ghost? But Adesua couldn't speak. She swallowed hard. Her lips trembled because she didn't know what scared her more, that she had finally seen him again, or that he acted like he had never seen her before. She watched the door until it closed behind him. Later, Ese found her in the office. Mommy, who was that man? Adesua looked at her daughter, her only child, the one she raised alone, the one who trusted her fully. She couldn't hide it anymore. Ese, she whispered. Something happened in Lagos. Adesua finally broke down and told her everything. The wedding, the rain, the loneliness, the mistake, the hotel, the note, and the disappearance. Ese held her hands gently. Mommy, you're human. You're allowed to make mistakes. She leaned forward and cried softly while Ese hugged her tightly. Later that night, she made a decision. She needed to talk to him. She needed to know the truth. Was he pretending? Or did he truly not remember her? She needed answers. The next morning, she went to the supermarket early, praying silently. God, let him come back. Let me see him. Hours passed. Customers entered and left. Still no sign of him. But around noon, one of her workers called her gently. Ma, someone is asking for you. Her heart jumped. She stepped out of her office and he was there. Good afternoon, Ma, he greeted. Adesua swallowed hard. Do you remember me? He looked confused. then shook his head. I'm sorry, Ma. I've never met you before. Something cracked inside her. How? She whispered. How can you say that? We spent a night together in Ikeja 2 months ago. He looked surprised, genuinely surprised. Ma, I don't understand. I was not in Ikeja 2 months ago. Ma, he said gently. Do you know if the man had a brother? Adesuwa froze. No, he never mentioned it. I have a twin brother, he said quietly. Ese gasped. He died 2 months ago. Everything inside Adesuwa went still 2 months ago. The exact time she discovered she was pregnant, Adesuwa felt her breath leave her body. He never told me his name, she whispered. That was him, the man said sadly. Friendly, but very private. He wasn't a bad person, just secretive. Silence filled the room. Then Adesuwa whispered, I'm pregnant. He didn't panic. His eyes softened. If the child is my brother's, then that child is family. I will stand with you. You won't face this alone. Esse exhaled shakily. You'll help? Yes, he said firmly. A tear rolled down Adesuwa's cheek, not from shame, but relief. Esse hugged her mother gently. Mummy, she whispered, you've lived through pain, loss, and loneliness, but you're still standing. You're stronger than all of us. Adesuwa breathed out slowly. Her shoulders relaxed for the first time since the doctor spoke. The young man stepped forward, not boldly, but with quiet respect. My brother made mistakes, he said softly. But this child is innocent, and you don't deserve to carry this alone. I will help, not because of you, but because of the life growing inside you. Adesuwa nodded weakly. She wasn't looking for a man. She wasn't hoping for love. She wasn't dreaming of miracles. All she wanted was peace. She placed a tired but steady hand on her stomach. The gesture was small, but full of strength. This was not the life I planned at my age, she whispered. But God has given me another responsibility, and I will accept it. Her eyes softened. Older, wiser, wounded, but still alive. She whispered to her unborn child, Your father is gone, but I am here. And as long as I have breath, you will never lack love. Esse held her closer. The young man dropped his head respectfully. And for the first time in a long time, Madame Adesuwa didn't feel ashamed. She didn't feel afraid. She felt ready. A woman who had buried a husband, raised a daughter alone, built a business, survived loneliness and grief, was now preparing to do something only a strong woman could do. 9 months later, the world had changed around Madame Adesuwa. And inside her, her belly grew slowly, carefully, under Esse's watchful eyes. And the young man's constant support. Some days were hard, some nights were long, but she pushed through quietly, bravely, like a woman who had lived life and understood its unpredictable nature. People whispered, some judged, some looked confused, but Adesuwa stopped explaining herself. She focused on one thing only, bringing this child safely into the world. And on a calm, warm morning in Ibadan, inside a small private hospital room, she heard a sound that wiped away every fear she had carried for months. A cry. A strong, loud, healthy cry. The nurse smiled as she placed the baby in her arms. Madame, congratulations, you have a bouncy baby boy. Esse burst into tears. The young man covered his face with his hands and sighed with relief. Adesuwa stared at the tiny boy resting on her chest, warm, soft, innocent. She whispered to her son with a trembling smile, "Your father is gone, but you will never lack love. Not while I'm alive." Ese held her mother gently from behind. The young man stood by her side, and for the first time in a very long time, Madame Adesua felt complete. You can start again, even at 50,